Hello, welcome to this short tutorial. Here I'm just going to create a main.go file and probably can increase the font a little bit. Let's close this one out. All right, so let me create a type and we're going to talk about slices of a type and then slices of pointers to a type. It's a little bit like a lot of words, but let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's create a type of user type. Just name here now. Since we're in the same package, we can keep everything lowercase. All right. So let's say users one there. Let's set this one to, let's say, slice pointer to user, right? And there's nothing special about it. We can do this now. User name user one. Looks great. And when I want, I can do log.println users one. Right? This is one version. The second version is very similar. We can copy this over, change this to 2, but this time around we take out the pointer, take out this, and we print this. We can change this to 2. And let's run the code. It's almost the same value, but look at here we have a memory address. Here we have something that's a little bit more readable. Now, when you look at code sometime, especially let's say some functions like this, it get users. Sometimes they return this. Sometimes you see this, right? If you've been programming in Go for a while, you should definitely have seen something like this. And some structure like this is returned. Sometimes this is what you see. And, sometimes you also see this. This one, take it out, take it out, take it out. Of course, we need to change this to 2. I have seen these both versions. I have also used both. So when do you use this one or this one? That is the question. That is what this tutorial is all about. Or should you use this one or this one? Now, it's a little bit tricky. Let's start with some description. How do you even describe it? This is slices of pointers to a type of user. So that means what you have technically in the slice are pointers. Even though if we, for instance, and this is the magic of Go, right? You do range, then print ln u dot name. This is going to work. So technically, Go is doing a little bit more for us. It's doing the dereferencing for us. So this code, there is a cheat, some magic happening. Because in order for you to access a value, if you have a variable that is of type pointer, remember we have pointers saved in here. So in order to access the value that that pointer is pointing to, you need to dereference that variable. You need to dereference. But Go doesn't, at first, you would think that somehow you need to do maybe some form of asterisk, dereference this, before, let's say something like this. Dereference this, then you can do name, right? This is it, right? And you see, we are manually dereferencing and then we are printing. This is, at first, you think this is what everyone needs to do, but Go does the magic for us. Here, of course, this is straightforward. This is a value that is stored in the slices, and you don't have to do that. So the question is, when do you use this version versus this version? And here are my personal take on this. 90% of the time or 99% of the time, you want to use this one. Because let's say you have an empty slice. Let's say for some reason, in the absence of data, any of this function can return nil, right? Any of these functions can return nil. So in that regard, there are no preference. If in the absence of data, you need a nil value returned, then no preference. Any version is fine. But there is more. Let's look at, this is what I ask myself. How do I intend to treat the individual types or the values stored? The values here are pointers. The value here are concrete types. How do I intend to address them individually? Let me show you what I mean. Let's say I pick first user here and I go here. This is the first user. The question I'm going to ask myself is, can this afford to be nil? That means technically what you're asking is, what are the chances of any of the element here containing a nil value? If the absence of data, let's say the user is going to be nil, and you need to do something because it is nil, then you want to use this. So that means here it is possible to put nil in this structure. That means one of the items in this slide has a user type, which is the pointer to a user, and one is nil. If this is what you are looking for, then definitely this is the way to go. For this, it's impossible to put nil here. That means if you say you can work with an empty struct, this is an empty struct. An empty struct is just it's a full struct. It's the same thing, but just that the fields are not filled out, right? So, but you have real value, you have data here, right? So basically, if I know that there are chances of me checking for nil, doing any nil type, I need to, my slices can contain nil values or nils, then I go with this type. But most times it doesn't happen. Trust me, it doesn't happen. And this can complicate things, right? So I always start with this, and if I am pushed to the limit that I must do something like that, I go back to change it. Now, that's one scenario. Then the second scenario where I can use this, aside from accepting nil in the slices, is when you are dealing with external libraries. For example, most of the generated code from protocol buffers are structured this way. That means if you are going to accept them, return them from functions, the structure has to be this way. It will be slices of pointers to the specific type. In that respect, there is nothing you can do. That is the structure of how the library wants it. So you go ahead and do it that way. Else, trust me, you always want to start with this because, like I said, in the absence of values, you can return nil for both type and it works. If you have slices, if you need to accept, if you need to do, if you need the pointer for this one, for instance, right? We can, let's grab the first value, and then this is the pointer to that, right? So if you have the pointer, for instance, here, and you want to dereference, you can dereference it. you know. So there is no, I don't see any benefit in going using this version until honestly I am pushed to the limit. And this is this is my take. Let me hear you guys comment. Show me in the comment, or just explain how you decide on this version or this version of slices. Thank you, Abba Joseph, in this short tutorial. If you like Go tutorials, please subscribe to my channel, support me, share the video on your social media, and bye for now.